All right, so I've added a little bit to the Plat. Like I said, I'm not going to show you everything. It's going to be your job to do the basic text. I'm just going to show you the information. So I went ahead and created the title, the Plat book and page number block over here. This is 5 inches this direction and 2 inches off of here. I also copied the text here. Note the style that I used. I just found a nice style in the drawing that I already had. Just to let you know, the style is called scale bar. I'm not sure why, but I liked that style, so I went ahead and used it. Okay, so I took the header, which shows up on all of the plats, each sheet, so you can see the Stony Brook South, North Parcel Phase 3. It shows up on every single one of your sheets. So also what shows up on every single one of your sheets is your key map and your scale. Okay, so the scale is 50 scale when we go to sheets 2 and 3. All right, so that's what we're going to do today, is start looking at sheets 2 and 3. I do want to show you that I started the first sheet also, but we'll talk about the notes in a later video. So, but go ahead and take a look at my sheet 1. What I did do is I did a screen clip and brought it in as an image. If you all don't know how to do that, how to XREF in an image, all I did is create a snippet of the Plat itself, and this is just an image. If you look at the XREF, it's a raster image. So if you type in XREF, you can pull this down and you can pull in an image. All right, and that's all I did because I don't have the location map, so I didn't want to make my life any harder, so I did it simply here. Again, we'll talk about the legal description later. The legal description will go over here, and we'll talk about the dedication and notes in a later video. Also, what I added in here, like I said, I haven't cleaned this up yet, but you all need to. Again, you all need to clean this up to make it look like the recorded plat. I did add the legend, and I started the legends on the first sheet. Now, moving on to the third sheet to get it started. Again, I need to copy the key map, this piece of text, the Plat book. Ooh, I should have put sheet 2 of 4 on the first one and 1 of 4 on the second one, so I need to do that also. And I'll pull in the scale. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on that. So what I'm going to do is, since I don't feel like copy and pasting, and I already know I'm going to use this information, I am going to pick sheet 2, right click, move or copy. When that pops up, you're going to create a copy and move to the end. And we're going to click on it, and we're going to right click and rename it to sheet 3. All right. So the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this piece of text. I always end up hitting circle, copy. I'm going to go ahead and put that. I'm going to change this height to 0.1. Actually, I'm going to go 0.15. Okay, and I am going to edit it, and this is going to be sheet 3 of 4. Not or, of 4. All right. Now, the other thing is I'm going to click on this, my viewport, and I am going to change it to a different scale. So I have to, when I click on it, unlock it and change it to a 50 scale. So 50 is not in there, so I'm going to click on custom. I'm going to add, and I'm going to say 1 equals 50. You can say 1 inch, you can do whatever you want. I'm just going to say 1 equals 50. 1 unit equals 50 units. All right. Okay. And I'm going to click on the line, the viewport again, and I'm going to change it to 1 to 50. Double click inside and pan up. So I'm going to get this down to the bottom. Let me take a look. at what it looked like. So I can see Berry Road all the way up to lot 12, and I can see everything over to the other side. So Berry Road, sorry, that says Bobcat. So let me move this over. Let me go ahead and lock this since it's the scale that I want. So I'm going to move this over down here to this corner. And I am going to, I've got to move this. I'm going to move this up here. I may end up having to scale that down. No, I shouldn't. It should be okay. And I'm going to move this up here. Now they could have left it over there. And again, short-term memory. I can see 13, I can see 78 and 97. Now, 13, 78, 97, so I'm just going to pull this all the way over to this side. The other thing that I want you to be aware of is I need to take the word lot out there. Okay, lot should have not been in there. So you know what you can do? If you, I'm going to go back to the model space. Most of y'all have had to deal with Word, Microsoft Word and all that. I'm going to select similar. And I am going to type in find. When you type in find, it's like using find in any type of Word document. I want to find the word lot. Okay, so here's what you have to think of. All right, before I do that, I want to get rid of the word lot, but when I get rid of the word lot, it gets rid of the words lot in everything else. But because I have more words lot here, it'll be faster for me to get rid of the word lot here and then just retype it in each one of these. So that's what I'm going to do. Sometimes you have to think about the consequences. So I select them all. I'm not sure where find is up here, but I know if I type in find, it pops up the find and replace. So I want to find the word lot and I want to replace it with nothing. I just hit the space bar once, okay? And I say replace all. And boom. Okay. And done. Now, it might be okay because I only highlighted. Yep, it worked. Because possibly I only highlighted the words in the model space. It also could be because it's not the word lots and it was just the word lot. So moving on, now I've got that all set up. Yay me. And I've got the first sheet looking like it should. So I can see this over here. And let me see. So I'm good. Now, the other thing that I want you to be aware of is I am going to squish that, is the match line. Okay, it goes through 49, 79, all that. So what you're going to end up creating is, let's see if there's a layer already for that. LA. Trying to do proper layer management, match, and there isn't. Maybe it's home star. Okay, that's just a match pattern, so that's not what I'm looking for. So I'm just going to put it on layer 0. It's already current. Okay. So typically it would have its own layers and everything. And I'm going to draw a line through here. Make sure your ortho's on. You want it straight. You want it to have a hidden or a dashed view. Do dashed. Okay. Notice that the text is the found iron cap or iron rodding cap. I'm going to push this over to the side so I can look instead of flipping back and forth. So this is twice that it's there. I don't need this one. So double click on the inside and I am going to get rid of this, delete, and I'm going to get rid of this, delete, and I'm going to move this. I'm going to move that over there. Now, text height, that's a bit big. So I'm going to change that to, it needs to be, let me see if I can, the style is simplex here. I'm going to change that style to simplex. I like things to be the same also. And I am going to change that to, since this is 50 scale, so 50 times 0.8 should be 4. 0.08, not 8. Should be 4. So that should be a 4 in height. Okay. All right. And we'll move this down to here. So that looks good. All right. Now what we'll do is we've got, I'll take a piece of text. I'll just grab this one. Copy that. Note the height. Ugh, I hate my keyboard is so slow when I go to hit copy. All right, so I'm going to call that a match line. Notice the height, 0.15. And I'm going to, you may have to make that bigger. Match line A-A, I believe is what they called it. Just match line A, and it's 2 words here. I've seen it as 1, just FYI. Match line A. They also denote, copy, on, I'm just gonna have to use the button up here. I hate that, but I do. Also up here, they denote not part of this plat. And the reason is they don't want anybody thinking the offsite is part of the plat. Okay. Also note that we have additional information. So not part of this plat. It's also down here, or should be. I don't see it, but it should be. Also, it has wetland line as flagged by environmental consultant, because usually they put those underneath easements. So be aware of that. I'm going to move this over to the side. A lot of this is going to be text cleanup for you all. Looks good so far. Now, what they don't have on in each one of these is this line here. Let me look at the front one. Yeah. So I should have, let's go back. I should have recognized this, but I didn't. Let's isolate these. Lay ISO. I should have gotten rid of these lines here. Because, and the reason is, lay uniso, is because the note covers that easement on the sides. So they're not showing it. Engineer plans usually show it, while the plat does not, because a note can take care of it. Okay, now notice on our, on this one, I have to turn the center line on again. All right, so you can see that the center line's on here. It's also, I also have to have the street names on here. So you're going to have to do a lot of layer management to be able to turn something off in one view and turn it on in another view. Just be aware of that. All right. Also, should have had a continuation off here. Offset. Let's make this layer current. and double click and go into paper. I just clicked on paper to get into model to switch it and make that current. I'm going to offset 10 feet and I'm going to make it through the layer and current and type in 10 because I need, oh man, I don't want to break that either. So I'm going to trace over the top of it. And the reason I don't want to break that is because I want to be able to label the entire thing. Okay. So I'm tracing over the top of it. And now I can offset 10 feet. And then I'm going to delete the line over the top of it. Same thing here. You can see that on this side is a 10, 10. Over here, I can see that I've got the 10, but there's also a tract B kind of broken down on this end. This one is, oops, this one's straight. So we need to straighten that out. See how that line is straight? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that, hover over it, and just remove vertex. I'm going to pick this one, highlight that one, remove vertex, and then I'm going to extend EX for extend and extend those two out. All right. Do the same thing. Remove vertex. And then I'm going to EX extend that out. Let's take a look. All right. So this one needs to go away. I'm going to squish that so I can look at two things at once. All right. This one needs to go away. That's fine. Notice how this is trimmed at the end. It's filleted on this one down here. We'll do that. I'm going to delete that first. Oops. And delete. So you can say, notice that one extends past. Rhyme and reason, I don't know. Fillet radius 0. You can pick this one and that one. Enter that one and that one. Enter that one and that one. Should be good to go there. Notice that's a total of 15, but that makes that a 10. So, and there's also a 10 here and a 10 here. So what we'll do is we'll offset, enter. So I'm going to offset that 10 here. Now I'm going to just draw a line. And I'm going to go end point, and offset that 10 to the north. Get rid of that and get rid of that and trim. I'm going to trim out this middle piece. Don't need that. Oop. And fillet radius 0. That one. Radius, fillet radius 0. You have to do it multiple times. That one and that one. And fillet radius 0. That one and that one. Okay, so that cleans these up. We'll take a look at the column in a bit. All right, so let's talk about getting the spot grades, the labeling, these labels in, okay? So let me move this over, and let me go ahead. So we have a label already created, right? So we have this label, but that label is going to be too big for this drawing. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy this because this is exactly what I want. To do that, click on, I'm sorry, that's just text. Boo. Grab the wrong one. I'm going to freeze that text, I think. Does everybody go off if I do that? Yeah, I don't want to do that. I am going to just delete that. As I go along, I'll delete pieces that I don't need. Okay, so this is the text that I want. Delete that too. No, undo. I'm going to move this. I'm not sure what the arrow's for. Anyway. All right, so this is the text that I want. Okay, I'm going to make a copy of that. And the way to make a copy of that is right-click. It's got to be highlighted. Right-click. Edit label style. And then you're going to pull this down. I don't think I've created one already. No. So I'm going to pull this down and copy current selection. I'm going to call it FAU lot bearing and distance. And then I'm going to get rid of that. Now at the layout, I need to change the height to 0.08. And when it's dragged, it needs to be 0.08 also. Now, here's the other thing. It's on 0 boundary dimensions. We'll have to create a new layer for it. And we're going to call it 0 lot. We're going to put it to 0 lot dems. Okay. Apply. And okay. And I don't think I'd already created one, did I? No. All right. If I did, whoops. Okay. FAU lot bearing and distance. And okay. And the reason we put it like that is so we can turn the label off in one place and have it on in another. I'm going to go ahead and put this on lot dems. So that's current. Now I'm going to come up here and go annotate, right? So I'm going to add a label. And that pops this up. When I add the label, I am going to add it to my line. Single, I'm going to change that to lot. I don't have any, I do have curves. Boo. Let's go ahead and make a copy, edit current selection, and create current copy. And I'm going to call this FAU lot. All right. So again, underneath the general, let's put that on lot dems. On the layout, we'll have to look at each one of these. So we'll change that to 0.08. Change the delta, 0.08. The dragged state, 0.08. Apply, and okay. And add. So we're going to start adding these. That one, ooh, okay. Now, and the reason, let's pause here for just a second. And the reason it looks huge is because we have this scale here. If it was at 50 scale, it would look better, okay? So don't worry so much about that. Because it's annotative, it'll look nice and neat. And I'm going to put that to the middle point. All right, so what I'm going to do is go to page 2 and then close it. In page 2, we don't want to see that. So I'm going to double click on the inside of it. I'm going to go home and I'm going to go LA and I am going to, in the viewport, freeze off the lot dims. Okay, so now I can't see them, but I can see, I can't see. Where did my dim go? This one I can see. Oh, I must have, what did I must have done? Oh, I changed that one. That one should go back to, whoops, because I created it, I based it on that creation. So just make sure, you're all good. And go back to 2. And there it is. Okay, but you don't see the lot dims, right? So I'm going to go to 3. And here I can see both. I'm okay with seeing both. All right. So you can do it through either model space or paper space. It's up to you. So now you're just going to start. Oh, I'm going to go back to model. Now, I would have liked to try to do the layers like that. to isolate it and label it like that, like lay ISO, but I don't think that's going to work. See how it turns off the annotation, LA. Now, I've got my lot dims on. I see Anno. Turn that back on. Okay, so that did work. At least it works up front so I can tag them easier. Notice that it's C Anno. I bet you that went to the layer C Anno. It did. And it should have been, and we can do this all at the end, that should have been to lot dims. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it this way. I should be able to tag these fairly easy. Lines. Now, if I do multiple, and I use lot and bearing, and I use that. If this is one continuous line, it automatically generates all the information along that line. And I do need that information along that line. But I then also need it singly. On this one, I don't think I can do a fence. F for fence. Let's try that. Nope. It's going to make me click every single one of these. Okay. While that's happening, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this. Now, here's the thing. There's two things going on. Let me pull these out of the way so you can see also. Let's talk about this. Okay. Notice that there is a C23, a distance, a straight line, a C22, a C8, and a C21. What it's doing is it's measuring the curve. C9 and C8 belong to the long curve that I just labeled. So this is C9 and C8, all right? The other labels, 23, 22, 21, are the curves that belong to the portion of the line that is within each of the lots. So what you're going to have to do is, and this is, you'll end up copying. Copy. I'm going to put that here. I am going to change its color to yellow. Blue might be easier to see. And I'm just doing it so it's easy to see. And I'm going to pick that here. Now, you're going to use the break. When you use the break, the single one right here, break at a point, you want to make sure that both ends go back to that point. Hit enter. Okay. Notice that that one has a gap. So I need to bring that back to that point. Now, if you don't, you've basically gotten the wrong information on your Plat. So don't do that. So hit enter. I always try to get close. And if it doesn't, then it's easy enough to grip. And sometimes it's almost easier to do it that way. Enter. And then you know that you're tying it back in. Escape. Enter. Enter just allows me, and the further, let's say I pick it over here, and you can see it's easier for me to grip at that point in time. So maybe that's what I'll do. So enter. And again, the reason I'm doing this is because I need each of these segments so I can actually label them for each of the line. Okay, that is one option, to break it up and label each of the lines. Now, you have to do that for when there's curves, because now if I do a single segment, I can now have a label here. Wrong one, sorry. Okay, I touched the wrong curve. It's that one there. Oh, it all is contained. There's not a little bit of a curve on the other side. Huh. Hold on to that thought. Okay, so there's one here. These two, C8 and C20, 1, C8, 13, 12, 49, and see how the delta is 12. So there actually is something that, yeah, see how that one, C20? So there is a bit of a curve that is on, well, there it is. There's that bit of a curve. I knew there was. So there's a little bitty bit of curve right here and a curve right here. So if let me get this out of the way. This is, I should save before it crashes on me. Okay. Okay, just saved it. Now let me pull this up. Now this is why we use the C values, okay? Because it would take too much space on our plat to deal with this much, okay? So let's take a look at the plat again. So over here, I only have a C23. The 9 continues on. So just FYI, I'm not going to worry about this right now. I'll show you in another video on how to label that. Go ahead and label everything. I'm going to lay on ISO. Now, I could also, instead of breaking all these up, there's a nice feature that is a line between 2 points, and we will use the lot and bearing. I'm sorry, I will do a distance only. So I go add. Now, depending on which direction you pick, tells you where you're labeling it. On this, I don't like that style, so I have to edit it. So I don't remember what we called the other one, so I need to look that up first. So I'm going to create edit, make sure that it says edit current selection. Take a look, it is 0.08 and it's standard. So it's 0.08 and standard. So I am going to, you can edit label text this way and pick it, and that's not what I wanted, sorry. Right click, edit label style, pull this down, edit current selection. Make sure that it goes onto the layer 0 lot dims. You may have to do a lot of moving stuff because CAD is not as friendly as I'd like it to be. 0.08 in height. There is really no drag state. It says bearing, but that's not true. This is a distance. Okay. Go back to general. Text style that, height that. I always go ahead and change it even though I know in my mind it doesn't do anything. Apply and okay and okay. All right. So you're good there. The other nice thing is you can, when you click on that, since it's in the middle of that text, I can flip the label. So I can just keep adding endpoint to endpoint. If I bring it this way, it automatically puts it on there, so I don't have to go back and do all the work of flipping the label. Add this direction to this direction, this to this, this to that, that to that. So that kind of makes, it only works really well for straight lines. This to this, on it on the bottom. Okay. So your job now, I'm not going to do all these and have you watch me, is you're going to go single segment, and you're going to add these to every single. Try to pick in the middle, save yourself some headache, because if not, then you're going to have to go back to each one of these and make sure your snap is on and it's at the midpoint, and there. All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop here and take a look at our plat. So far, so good. Our viewport is locked and ready. So that's locked. And I'm going to go ahead and move my legend over to here. Oops, that's taken too much. Okay, move that to over here. Now the other thing that I have to do is double click on the inside here is I'm going to type in *CL because the center line needs to be unfrozen in this viewport because we need to label it. And I'm going to go ahead and use the lot label. Let's take a look first to see if the text is the same height. So the center line label, yep, it's the same height. So I can use the lot label that I've already created. And I am going to label the center lines. I'm going to go ahead and extend I'm going to go ahead and extend out that center line to that point right there. So I am going to go multi-segment and lot, add to this one, to this one, to this one. Now, here's the thing. I need to break this one here. And the reason is because, and make sure it snaps back to there. And again, I'm comfortable with using the break command, but when you do it in your job, make sure that you're not screwing up the bearing and distance when you do that. Okay, so I'm going to do that add again on this line. You have to give the bearing and distance in between each of the intersecting center lines. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and copy. Double click out of here. I am going to go ahead and copy this one into page 4. Move to the end, create a copy, okay. And rename 4. Now when I do that, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this up to about here. And then I'm going to move this all the way down and turn my F8 ortho on. I'm going to take my snaps off to here. And then I am going to drag this viewport back up. And there we go. So technically I only need to see it to here. And then I'll get this and move this over F8 here. Change this to 4. It needs to be, the other sheets need to be done too. But I'm going to go ahead and stop here. And this will be our start. Finish up labeling all of the lots, label the center lines, and take a look at what else you can label. All right. Next video, I'll show you how to do the curve tables.